All right, guys, we're back with a Thanksgiving special episode, because I will be in New Jersey. And
wait, Alex, we have to do our regular intro, but we have to do it with our special
guest,
special
part 2.
Guest. Yeah,
part 3. Actually, he's been on 3 episodes now.
Yeah. So, welcome back to the Night's Watch, folks. I'm Jacob.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Kyler. Thank you guys for having me for the 3rd time, which I appreciate.
Yep.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And we're going to do a little Thanksgiving special. So we're not going to talk about the games. We're not going to look at the most recent night stuff. We're just going to set all that aside. We're going to look at the whole league this episode. Because as we all know, Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, as they say.
The one that matters.
But exactly. Let's be real. No one gives a shit about Canadian Thanksgiving in early October.
Canadian Thanksgiving.
How's it Thanksgiving?
It's mid-October.
They also oppress Native Americans.
They do.
Probably worse than us.
Well, they also didn't just elect a dictator, so.
Well, they also have a bunch of Native American children buried besides churches and.
Point being, American no matter what happens, American Thanksgiving is the Thanksgiving that we measure this by.
Yep.
The old saying goes, if you're in the playoffs by American Thanksgiving, you have a pretty good shot of making it.
Well, the Golden Knights are maybe.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
So the premise of this episode is we're going to look at all the teams in the league. Like I said, this is going to be a league episode, not a VGK episode. Obviously, we'll talk about us when our turn comes up.
Yep.
And we're basically just going to say, is this team maybe not a playoff team, because I don't think we want to get into the minutia of 16 in, 16 out, and then start arguing. Yeah. We're just going to say, is this team where they want to be, or are they not where they want to be? Yeah. And then we'll just kind of go from there.
All right. Well, we can start with the Atlantic.
Yeah, East to West.
Yeah. So right now, number 1 in the Atlantic are the Florida Panthers. They've played 18 games. They've won 12. They're 12-5-1, 25 points with a .694 points percentage. What do you guys think about the Panthers?
I mean, as defending Cup champs go, not bad. They haven't had a bad start. They've been pretty solid.
Jonah Gadjevich can throw fucking hands.
Yeah. Oh my God, that fight.
That boy can fucking fight. He fought Brendan Dillon, and then he fought Curtis McDermott, and they were fucking bangers.
Just back to back. I'm insane.
It was just one of those classic hockey fights where they're like, we're not going to defend. We're just going to grab it on each other and just swing as hard as we can.
Go to town.
And then also, Gadjevich is 6 feet, 6'1". He's probably about our height, but he fought Curtis McDermott. He's 6'4", and he fought Brendan Dillon's 6'5". And then that fight against McDermott was winning, and then fucking Gadjevich just comes across with a fucking right cross right to his chin. Just fucking knocked him.
Have you been playing the last few Mortal Kombat games where...
Oh, you get the X-rays?
Exactly. He gave him the X-ray move.
Oh, yeah. Just had that little special bar, use that, and we all was
I would say the Panthers are currently meeting expectations, because you expect them to be this good.
Oh, yeah.
They all obviously have some depth issues, when you get down the lineup. I think Bob's having another stinker of a season, but Bob is weird to where he's alternates between good, bad. I think we're on the bad season, but then again, he's not too bad.
He's not awful.
Exactly. He's not awful.
Serviceable.
And what we talked about in the last episode was league save percentage is way down. Goals are being scored this season. And it's funny because you remember Jeff Merrick, formerly of the 32 Thoughts podcast.
The once future king.
Exactly. But he finally started posting on social media again. And he basically said something. He's like, oh, yeah, well, it's pretty obvious. He's like, for a long time, old hockey heads would always say, well, you can't teach goal scoring. That's a natural instinct. Well, now every kid that has a shot at making the NHL, they have a shooting coach. Yeah. So no wonder scoring is up. Not to detract too much from the subject at hand, but I would agree with you boys. I think the Panthers are at or above expectations. Playoff team.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
Serious shot at repeating.
Yeah.
Which is what we said about us last year.
Yeah,
didn't happen. But
it looks like they're not really slowing down or just taking the foot off the gas. They're still going at it and giving it as much as they can, and I respect it.
Yeah, they're just very well constructed. They can score, they can defend, they're brutal, they're fucking violent.
They didn't really lose any major key players in the offseason either, which is also pretty, which goes for them.
The one thing for them is their defense has they lost players. They lost OEL. They lost who else did they lose? Schmidt got brought in to replace some minutes, but like that defense, I could see either way, man. Like, but like still, that team's so deep when you have like a third line of like fucking Luosterainen and a young line like Luosterainen, Lundell, and Rodriguez plays with them, and Sasha Barkov is so fucking good. Matthew Tkachuk's an animal. Like Sam Reinhart and Sam Bennett are fucking disgusting. Like,
well, and for me, it's like, well, they lost to OEL, and I'm like, yeah, it's fucking OEL. They'll be fine.
But they can also make a trade for somebody.
And it was, deadline. I'm trying to remember who they were playing against. But somewhat recently, you know who had the game-winning goal for them? Nate Schmidt.
Nate Schmidt?
He's been heating back up. He's looking like how he did with us.
Well, when you can shelter his minutes into being an offensive role and not having to play fucking 20 minutes a night when he was with the Jets needed him. Then now they don't.
Yeah, I will say I do miss Schmitty.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on the Panthers. But next team, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Leaves are leaves. They're not doing awful.
That defense is the best it's been in probably fucking a decade.
I do see them again making playoffs, probably doing a cup run.
Well, here's my thing with them is that now it's like, all right, our defense is fixed. Now they're like, all right, goaltenders, Anthony Stolarz and Joseph Woll.
Yeah, but Stolarz has been fucking fantastic.
He has, but between the pipes, he's been pretty good.
I don't know about you boys, but to me, their biggest question mark is they're going to be missing Ryan Reeves for a few more games. You know, he got suspended for knocking Darnell Nurse's block off.
But hey, he gave Darnell Nurse a couple of height inches now, so that's good for him.
Yeah, his neck extended by at least 8 inches, I would say, at least. Yeah, Matthews is missing me, but they've been winning. They were winning without Matthews. So.
Yeah, and I love Reeves, I really do. But again, he's not gonna make or break that team.
Yeah,
but
I think they're squarely in the playoffs.
Yeah,
squarely in the playoffs.
But again,
I agree.
With every season, we'll see how they do in playoffs because
exactly
they've got a history.
I was gonna say Toronto is the definition, kind of like of some other teams we'll talk about. They really are. Who gives a shit? Show it to us in the playoffs.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, they could easily lose in the first round, or they could make a final. Who knows?
Yeah, like I can see him doing it, but again,
they just have to put it together.
I'm not going to hold my breath for him.
Third place is the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think they're exceeding my expectations.
How are they doing points wise right now?
They got 19 points, so actually not too much. They're 9-6-1, so they've started losing. I know I made this call earlier in the season. I said Nikita Kucherov is going to score a shit ton of goals, and he's scoring a shit ton of goals.
Oh, he has.
But I know you've got him on your fantasy
he's
team.
on my fantasy. That's the only reason why I know.
But the depth on that team is starting to be apparent.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the problems with depth, and that the problems with defensive depth too. Like Mikhail Sergachev was a massive miss. I know McDonough and McDonough's gone too. Didn't he go to? No, he came back. Came back. And then obviously Victor Hedman's an animal, but the rest of that defense is not great. Vasilevsky's been pretty good. I think they're meeting my expectations right now, but I could see them getting manhandled in the playoffs by a better team than them.
Oh yeah, again, like if it was another Leafs versus Lightning round, like.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Again, they're not doing awful. They're meeting my expectations. It would be maybe they can exceed it, but at this point, we'll see. I think again they'll probably make it 2 playoffs, but then
I can see that that's the one team in the Atlantic that falls off pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it depends. It really, and we'll talk about them, but it depends if the Sens can get their shit together consistently. But yeah, I don't know. I would. Maybe I had low expectations, but I would say they're a little bit above my expectations. Sometimes you look at a team and you're like, oh, they only have a couple of elite players. I'm like, well, they're still elite. Yeah. Kucherov is still Kucherov.
Yeah, it's still Nikita Kucherov, but they're just as a confusing team as they were preseason, right? They're like, where does this team go? Like, are they going to make the playoffs? Are they going to be good?
Basically, any given week, depending on how they've been doing, you can tell me like, oh yeah, they're going to finish first in the Atlantic and smoke everyone, or they're going to miss the playoffs. I would believe you either way.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, so I think we can all agree they're either at or above expectations.
Yeah.
They're chugging along. Yeah, we'll see how they go.
All right,
I
who's
agree.
next?
Number 4 in the Atlantic. They are the Boston Bruins. 19 games played, 8-3-19. They are below expectations. This team kind of sucks.
Yeah, especially like what 2-3 years ago after winning the presidential trophy,
Yeah.
and then to what they are now. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is rough.
Their defense is bad. They cannot score. Jeremy Swayman sucks balls. This team is not good.
Like, there's nothing that I could like say kind of positively about it, and like that, like
Look at it this way. So they have 19 points and they're 4th. In the Pacific, they would be in 6th place.
damn.
That's how. You can't give me like, well, that means the Atlantic's closer. I'm like, no, it means they fucking suck.
Yeah, like
They
that's rough.
Well, they're close because they're all bad.
Yeah.
So it is close. It's
Yeah.
just not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Boston way below my expectations. And
I would be
Isn't Hampus Lindholm out for like an extended period now?
I think Hampus Lindholm is out. That decor was already looking a little thin. They were really depending on Nikita Zadorov coming in and being a difference maker. I don't know why. There's no reason to think that he would be. Yeah, I would put them way below expectations.
No.
Swayman's been fucking awful.
trash.
Um,
And if they somehow make it to playoffs, color me surprised because I don't see it happening.
Yeah, we're past the point where Jake Swayman can be like, "Oh, you still haven't, practiced enough or played enough." Like, nope, we're 2
No.
months in. You've had enough NHL shots. You suck.
Yeah, like
And
you're not.
also that was your fault for not signing that deal early enough. That's all on you.
Yeah.
You should have said it was all of $250,000, $500,000. Like, give me a fucking break. And now you're showing that you're not worth that money.
And it just again, all that time, energy, effort, just waste
Out the
like,
door.
If I was a manager, like management, I'd be like,
Oh,
what
if I was Cam Neely, I'm gonna fucking take a fucking hockey stick to the back of Jeremy Swayman's knees.
again, just like the coach in Letterkenny, this is fucking embarrassing.
yeah, and some time has passed, but Pasternak getting benched for periods at a time. Yeah, no one's scoring. Marchand looks like he's finally aging out. Yeah, I got nothing else on these guys. They're not very good.
No,
And it's funny because their record is around 500,
but again,
close to
like,
500. But all in all, below.
They
might make the playoffs. You know what my take was when I was thinking about it? This is the season that they should have had last season.
Yes.
Because 2 seasons ago, they had that crazy season that you mentioned,
yeah,
Tyler.
like, they killed it.
Yeah, and then they lost Bergeron and they lost Krejci, and like, oh my God, they lost their top 2 centers. What are they going to do? They're going to suck. And then they ended up finishing 1st or 2nd in the Atlantic.
Great season.
They totally exceeded expectations. This year, I think it's come down.
Yeah.
Everything's crashed.
Which now I'm curious on if
They have no second line center.
No, if they
Zero.
have this season's awful, are they
Yeah.
going to go to a team like your team rebuild or like what do they
can't-
plan on doing?
You can't because you're paying Pasta how many tens of millions of dollars, like, and then you have to pay. Then you're going to have to pay Charlie McAvoy, like,
And even with that
and then
$9
you just
mil,
pay,
like
you just pay Jeremy
increase.
Swayman a
Yeah.
shit ton of money. You have
All
to
for
fucking
what?
dig it out. But yeah, I think they're below. I think they might miss the playoffs. And then so we're going to go to the Sens, the Ottawa Senators. They are 8-9-1, or 8-8-1. Sorry, with 17 points, 17 games played. This team can score.
They can score, but again, like with is it Ullmark or
Ullmark. Talking about
Yeah.
Boston goaltending.
Yeah, I was just like
Swayman and Ullmark both fucking
again
suck.
He was
dude.
projected to have again like a good
great-
amount
yeah.
of like points this season and like a lot of really good saves, and he had a rough start
Mhm.
and now is not doing too hot. And again, I thought he was going to do well. I drafted him for fantasy thinking he was going to do well.
I think the Sens as a whole are like meeting kind of where I expected them to be. I thought they'd be like 4th or 5th. They're right there.
Yeah.
Ullmark is extremely below. I thought they're going to be there because Ullmark is going to be so good.
Yeah, but
Their scoring is disgusting. The goaltending is piss
trash.
poor. Forsberg is better than Ullmark. Until Forsberg has had a better record than Ullmark has.
Yeah, at this point, put Forsberg in more because that's not going to hurt.
The first game that we played against them, to me, kind of summed it up in the sense of they scored a lot of goals, but their defense did not hold firm.
No.
And I don't know if I would blame Ullmark. He certainly hasn't been as good as he needs to be, but the defense
Also
has
been bad.
Yeah. And to me, this team just doesn't. They don't know how to win consistently, and it's already feeling like how it has the last few years, where every year it's like, this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. I just don't see it, fellas.
No,
I don't see it.
So
another year circling in mediocrity.
Yeah, and with how they were gonna do and how my thoughts were, they are meeting my expectation.
Yeah,
I knew they weren't gonna be amazing or great, but I didn't think they were gonna be awful either. They're just middle of the road.
Yeah, as far as meeting expectations, I think they're meeting or mildly below my expectations. Yeah. They're definitely below the expectations of hockey media because they're always delusionally convincing themselves that these Canadian teams will be good. I think for most of the world, maybe they're a little bit below. Me, just about at, maybe a little below. We'll see how Tampa finishes the year. But point being, nothing to write home about, right?
No, again, they're like a snickerdoodle cookie. They're good, but they're never my go-to.
Let's rapid fire these last three.
All right.
Sabres, dog shit.
Oh, trash.
They are 8-9-1. Somehow have 17 points, so they're a little bit exceeding.
Tuck's doing kind of good.
Tuck's good. They're a little bit exceeding my expectations, but Sabres, dog water.
And Sabres haven't been good for years now.
How old are you?
I'll be 32 in a couple months.
I don't think they've been good for your entire life. So
they haven't been good for
yeah, because I'm 30. I'm also 32. Am I 32?
You're 32.
I'm 32, and you're 33. Okay, we're aging curmudgeonly millennials on this show, but yeah, Buffalo. They're Buffalo. Every time they string a few wins together, and I'm like, hey. Here we go. And then they lose 2 or 3 in a row, and they just never move. They never move the needle.
Yeah, and that's the Sabres. They suck. The team that's surprising me, the Detroit Red Wings.
Yes.
Bad.
Which
below expectations by a lot. I thought they were going to be middle of the pack, but dude, they suck.
So I'm the opposite. I thought they were going to do kind of awful.
You thought so? I thought they were doing better.
They're pretty good. They're doing
my whole thing was that they
bad.
Loaded up on NHL level goaltenders, just have a bunch, and all of them have been really bad. Cam Talbot will have one good game and then be dog shit. Billy Husso sucks. Alex Lyon's injured.
I was going to say Alex Lyon has not been bad. Thank you very much. But no, I'm kind of with Kyler on this one, where I'm like, yeah, I was expecting them to be bad,
but they're doing a little bit.
I was expecting them to take a significant step back, but they're hanging in there.
Yeah,
it looked pretty bad early, but they've kind of recovered and stabilized. They're not doing great overall, but well, that's the thing, right? It's those 3 teams: Ottawa, Detroit, Buffalo. They're just circling the pits of mediocrity now and forevermore.
And I really want the Red Wings to be a lot better.
Me too.
It's mostly because I really miss that Avs and Red Wings fucking blood hatred. Same thing with the Knights and the Sharks. I miss that blood hatred.
But
then when one team's way better than the other, then I'm like, well, this isn't even fun anymore.
Exactly.
Damn it. I want that rivalry. I want that on-site, drop gloves. We're going at it. And it's hard to do when the other team's just not good. And I'm just like, damn it, get better so I can be so enthralled about this. But yeah, I really miss that Avs, Red Wings, just straight hatred.
Yeah, so I think we can agree. Red Wings, relatively disappointing overall. Or if they're not disappointing, it's because you expected them to have a bad year.
To be kind of bad.
I will say I still have faith in the Yzer plan. I think they're heading in the right direction, but this year ain't it, fam.
Yep. I agree. And then in 8th place in the Atlantic Division, it is the Montreal Canadiens. I expect them to be awful.
Yeah, I expect them to be
they're
just
bad.
Bottom of the barrel.
They're bad. They've won 6 games.
If you were hey, gun to your head, name one good player, on their team, and I'm just like, I pull the trigger because I can't say.
Cole
I don't know.
Caulfield scored a lot of goals, but the rest of that team is
It's
dog
just
shit.
awful.
Yeah, I think that's just the end of it. Montreal sucks. Next, Metro.
Ooh,
wait,
we're going back.
I want to have my turn to say that Montreal sucks because when we did our preseason previews, I put them at 8th, and I think you put them at like 6th or 5th or 4th or something. Maybe not 4th. But point being, everyone's like, oh my God, they got Patrick Laine, and oh my God, fucking Nick Suzuki, and oh my God, Cole Caulfield. No, they're bad.
Your second line center is Alex Newell.
Yeah. And I will quote the great Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts 2-ish weeks ago. He basically had a whole segment of the show where he said, because there's all these news articles saying, was Marty St. Louis on the hot seat? Is coach going to get fired? And he was like, everyone needs to listen to me right now. He's like, the Habs are doing bad because they are bad. They're not underperforming because of the coach. Like, look at the roster.
Like
and
everything just bad.
Watch the games and look at how they play. He's like, this is not a good team. And then there's also been rumors like, oh, well, they're looking for a trade. They need a forward with some grit, or they need a right shot defenseman, or this or that. And he was like, guys, again, this team is not one trade away from being good.
No, we need a
bad.
whole ass new team to like be better.
Exactly. So I will say that Montreal is at my expectations because I expected them to be awful, and they are awful. So next,
we're going to the Metro, and we're going to the number 1 team in the Metro, and holy shit, it's the New Jersey Devils.
I mean, they had a pretty decent year last year.
Last year they were not good. 2 years ago they were great. Yeah, last year they missed the playoffs.
Oh, I was thinking 2 years ago.
2 years ago they had those playoff battles with the Canes and the Rangers. They were there. Good God, that team is good. Apparently, all you need to do is get rid of Vitek Vanacek, and you're
there. It is.
Yeah.
all you need to do is get an NHL level goalie and not have a bunch of 20-year-olds on your defense core. Two NHL goalies. I would say they're at my expectations because I expected them to be at the top of the division.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of hesitation, like, oh, well, they were so bad. Do you expect them to rebound? I'm like, well, yeah, because they fixed the specific problems that were holding them back.
Yeah, I'd say they're probably I'd say they're meeting above my expectations. Again, when it comes to them, I wasn't expecting anything because they're not one of my teams I think about a lot. Or hey, yo, have you seen that Devils game?
Paul Cotter, he's having a great season, and he's living the vibes up in New Jersey. God, I tried to convince my wife to go to a New Jersey game, but she won't let me go. So we're gonna go to a Rangers game and pay 3 times the price.
But that's because, according to your wife, Newark is a war zone. If you try to go to a Jersey game, you'll get shot and robbed, and you'll become Batman.
God, I hope.
Ooh, but maybe you could see a good Matt Rempe fight. That'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, I think they're meeting our expectations.
Yeah, I definitely see them going to playoffs.
They'll probably be the number 1-2 team in the league. They are number 2 right now
in the whole league.
Yep. Number 2 to Winnipeg.
Well, good for them.
And then now we've got the Carolina Hurricanes, who beat the living shit out of us the other day.
Yeah.
They played only 16 games. They are 12-4, and they have a 750 point percent. And they won tonight, so that's not updated. So they're 13-4.
Again,
this is a team I thought was going to have depth issues.
They still have Aho, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but with their bottom 6, I thought they're going to have issues because with they have Carrier in their middle group. I'm I don't know about that, but the defense has been really good. Pyotr Kochetkov has been excellent. They might run into some issues now that he's injured, and also is Freddie Anderson. So goaltending might be a problem, but that defense is so good. The team in front, they're just relentless.
Yeah, and they're pretty quick. They're not the quickest team, but they've got some speed to them.
But this is a team that I think Jacob was kind of talking about is you can be great in the regular season. Yep. You can be good in the regular season, be really good. Show me in the fucking playoffs. Finish a goddamn playoff series.
And to be fair, they did get to the conference finals and they got smoked by the Panthers, who are a uniquely good team. So it's not like they're Toronto or whoever and they're just losing in the first round continuously. They get get semi deep in the playoffs, but yeah, they need to make the finals.
Yep. No, I agree. They need to go to a cup final, even if they lose. Rod needs to show that he can take a team to the fucking cup final.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot in their way, like with the Devils and the Rangers and shit. Team coming up next, the Capitals. They are far exceeding my expectations.
Yeah.
I thought this team was going to be awful this year.
Yeah, especially with how they did last year. I was not expecting much, but
they barely squeaked into the playoffs, and then the Rangers just fucking absolutely fucking destroyed them. Like, just it was a complete masterclass of just mediocre versus great. Like, they're far exceeding my expectations.
Yeah, and I know they're probably only going to keep going until they break that record, and Ovi does it. Like, I feel like maybe once they do that, they might lose some steam because I know that team is all gunning for that record for him.
Yeah,
but also, again, Thompson behind the net. Oh man, I love him, and I hate to see him go.
Yeah, I can't talk any amount of shit. They've clowned us in our matchups this year, and that's already done. It's only 1-1 because they're an East Coast team. So they clowned us.
Yeah.
Thompson looks good. He took the net. Ovi's going to break the record. And yeah, they did what the Penguins should have done. They added good pieces, and they said, hey, like this isn't the formula for long-term good team.
It's a short.
We just need to be good enough.
Short window.
We just need to be good while Ovi's here. That's what the Pens should have done for Crosby, and they didn't because they're stupid. But Caps above expectations. They'll make the playoffs.
Oh, hands down.
I also think low key that TJ Oshie is really helping them because
hands down.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. TJ Oshie is a great hockey player, one of the greatest American hockey players. But he was slow as shit.
Oh, yeah.
And he was old, and then you lose that, and you've got like younger. You inject youth into the lineup, and everybody's faster. 100% would take that 100% of the time.
Yeah. Before we go to the next team, I just want to say the way things are going, if we as the Knights can get to playoffs and Washington gets to playoffs, if we can get a little rematch,
a battle in the Stanley Cup final, that'd be disgusting.
I want that revenge. I want that. I want it. And especially that we've lost to them twice this year. Like, I need this. And I think it'd be a lot of fun. It would be hot and heavy, and you'd just be super heated, but I think it'd be a fun thing to watch.
Hot and heavy, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, some wounds never heal, and I know they're an East Coast team that we barely play, but I will always hate this team.
Oh, yeah.
And I know we got our own cup, and we redeemed ourselves, but I will always hate them.
But I want this W so badly.
So, hey, cup rematch, I'd be okay with that.
I think it'd be cool. It would definitely be a lot of fun to see.
I think in a playoff environment, we would be better than them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then again, by that time, I'm sure Ovi has beaten the record and all that jazz. So I feel like we really could take it to him.
Yeah, I would just be like, hey, Ovi, we're going to take you to meet Mr. Zelensky.
Take him out back and shoot him in the back of the head like a Russian racehorse. Next up is the New York Rangers. 15 games, 10-4-1, 21 points. This is the top half of the Atlantic the top half of the Metro is pretty good. My one thing about the Rangers is Mika Zibanejad fucking terrible. He's been awful.
Yeah, I'm so shocked that they're down this low, and if the listener paying attention will realize that when we were talking about a different team earlier, I thought we were talking about the Rangers, and I misrepresented some facts. Rangers, they started off really hot. They haven't been great. Shesterkin is Shesterkin.
Yep.
But, yeah, I agree. I had this thought during the playoffs. Mika Zibanejad is not him. You know, sometimes you see a player, and you're like, he is him. Zibanejad is not him. Like, they need, like, an actual first-line center.
I will say they have been fun to watch, and I got a soft spot for Matt Rempe. Like, watching that kid just go and throw hands has been so much fun for me.
I think the rest of that team is solid. Like, Panarin's up there in points. Kreider's been good. Alexi Lafreniere's, I have him on my fantasy team. He's been really good.
Yeah. Even last year they had a solid cup run.
Like, he's been garbage.
Well, you know what all those players have in common is that they're wingers. They do not have a good center core.
Yeah.
I love Vincent Trocheck.
He's not a first line.
He's not a first-line center. That's like a high-end second-line center, and Zibanejad is just not. He just doesn't have to compete. He's the old-school stereotype of like a soft European player.
Yeah.
But that being said, this is a deep team. This is a talented team.
Riley Smith's on this team.
Riley Smith is on this team. I would say they're at expectations, and
Yeah.
they'll make the playoffs.
I'd say expectation.
Yeah, and I'm going to see them in about a week. So they better fucking win that game, or we're going to blow my brains out in the match.
Who are they playing against?
The Blues.
Ooh.
That's going to be a tight game. Should
That
be a
would
really good game.
Should be fun to watch.
Yep, it's going to be a good fun game. So next team, the most boring goddamn team in the league, it's the New York Islanders. I hate this team.
They are,
hate them
I
so
will
much.
say, again, like the Boston, they're meeting my expectations, and it's because they're not very high.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not surprised at all.
I hate this team. Not because I don't hate anybody, one person on this team. I think Matthew Barzal is a great hockey player. I love Adam Pelech. I love Pollock. Sorokin's a good goaltender. I just hate this team. I think mainly it's because I hate fucking their GM. And like he forced Anthony Duclair to shave his beard and cut his dreads,
Just
and
so
now
stupid.
Duclair got injured. Like I just don't like this team. Like I hope they miss the playoffs.
Yeah, they're honestly like nothing to write home about. Like nothing. I'm just like, oh, I got to check out this next Islanders game. They're again for me. They're just like,
They're
there.
They're the Islanders. But I will say about Anthony Duclair shaving and cutting his dreads. Apparently, what I heard from some players on that randomly do podcasts and shit. Apparently, that whole like shtick about the hair, like, there's not actually like a rule. It's just kind of become like an inside joke / meme among hockey players that if you go to the Islanders, you have to do that. So it's like, I don't know how to describe it other than like it's something that players hate to do, but they voluntarily do because they all just respect Lou and think he's a hilarious old man. That being said, yeah, the Islanders suck.
Yeah. I don't like them.
I mean, fucking JG Pajot got fucking put on waivers.
That's right.
Yeah,
Holy
like-
shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so, and I don't think that led to anything other than trying to be a wake-up call for him because
He's in Bridgeport now.
much like Anthony Mantha, he's a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah.
But
Anthony Mantha had his ACL got torn.
I was about like, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he just got like injured.
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks.
but
Glad. Yeah, but also
Well-
not mad that we got rid of him.
yeah, so we got a lot of teams to go. I got nothing to say about the Islanders. They suck. They either won't make the playoffs or they will and lose in the first round.
Shortest part yet. Now we're at the Flyers. Might make this shorter. What did you expect from the Flyers?
This is-
I expected them a little bit more, but like not nearly as much because we did say the goaltending was going to be bad, and the goaltending is bad. Matty Michkov, really good. Their defense hasn't been terrible. It's just,
Yeah,
We-
just meh.
Yeah.
Meh kind of team.
Yeah, I would say they're at expectations
Yeah,
because I
agreed.
expected them to be bad, and I expected Michkov to be good yet irresponsible because he's a young Russian player. Yeah, basically they're playing to the script this year.
Yep.
I don't know. What you got to say, Kyler?
Meh. They're there.
I wish we drafted Jet Luchenko. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Now we're at our favorite team to fucking dunk on in the entire league right now. Somehow in 7th place, but they have played 20 games and they're 7-10-3. It's the Pittsburgh Penguins. Holy shit, they
Trash.
suck. They are
Just
I feel
bad for Crosby.
I don't. They're meeting my expectations because we did our season preview and I said they are going to be a bottom 5 team in the league, and they are fucking awful. Erik Karlsson, as we know, is terrible.
Yeah.
Chris Letang is a fucking bloated corpse. Gino, old man. The best player on that team, indeed, is Sidney Crosby because that man defies time, defies age. He's
doing the damn
one of the
thing.
best hockey players ever. If he didn't have those concussions, those injuries early in his career, he'd probably be right along with Ovi with goal scoring and points.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
I fully believe it. He's won more cups. He's successful. Sidney Crosby, amazing hockey player. The rest of that team is fucking
Just-
dog shit. Tristan Jarry, terrible. Blomqvist, terrible. Alex
Blomqvist.
Nedeljkovic, terrible. Ricard Raquel, awful. Brian Rust, awful. Rucker McGordy, he plays in Scranton now. Everybody on that team has been bad outside of Sidney Crosby.
It's just trash can fire.
Yeah.
Where is Rucker? Yeah.
Imagine being Rucker McGroarty in the offseason, like, I'm not playing in Winnipeg. Trade me somewhere. And then you go to Pittsburgh, and the Winnipeg Jets are fucking. Let me look at the score right now. 15-3, and you're on a team that's one of the worst teams in the league.
I would have been like, "Aw, can I bust out that Uno reverse card?"
He's like, well, sorry, just Winnipeg was so cold, so I wanted to go to the beautiful climate of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yeah. Sorry. All I can say is a lot of people are going to say they're below expectations. I think us on this pod they're at expectations because we expected them to be fucking terrible. At least Alex and I did. I don't know if you did, Kyler.
I didn't think they were going to be amazing, but again, like I like Crosby as a player.
Oh, I love Crosby. I love Sidney Crosby. You know who I would love to have on the Golden Knights in a trade? Sidney Crosby. Absolutely. I adore Sidney Crosby. Is an amazing player. That team is fucking terrible. Mike Sullivan is too old to be a coach. Kyle Dubas is trying, but he's been locked into these terrible fucking old men contracts. What do you expect Kyle Dubas to do? Like, he went out and get Garrett Carlson. Sure, that's fine. You're trying to inject some scoring, but then you're paying him $10 million to be awful?
Damn, I didn't know he was getting $10 million.
His contract is 11.
Yeah. His
That's
contract
insane.
is like 11.5, and then
For what?
Yeah, exactly. And then I think San Jose, they barely retained. That was a masterclass trade by San Jose. But before we move on, I'll just say that, this is our Thanksgiving special. After Thanksgiving is Christmas and New Year's. Then after that, all we have to look forward to is the Four Nations playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
And the former coach of Team Sweden straight up said, he's like, they should not have put Erik Karlsson on this team because his defense is so bad that
how bad is it?
he's like in a short tournament like this, he could lose them the tournament in some games. So yeah, Crosby, love you. You're great. Captain's going down with the ship because you got to respect that.
Yeah.
Malkin has been great. Letang and Carlson have been actually awful, embarrassingly awful.
Ooh.
Tristan Jarry is not an NHL player.
The only tradable asset on that team outside of Crosby is probably Marcus Pettersson. And even then, he's a bottom pairing defenseman on most teams, and he's playing like second pairing right now or first pairing because how bad that defense is. But that's Pittsburgh. And then, obviously, Columbus. It's Columbus. We knew they were going to be bad.
Yep.
Meets my expectation of bad.
Same.
Columbus.
They're there.
R.I.P. Johnny. That sucks for them.
Yeah,
they were hot for a minute. And
yeah. And again,
came
they
back
had
down.
a fucking rough start.
Oh,
I don't blame
dude.
them for
Yeah.
that. Like, that sucks. But
one quick thing on Pittsburgh. My only memorable thing about anything Pittsburgh's ever done between the Penguins, the Steelers, the Pirates, we flew into Pittsburgh for my wife's best friend's wedding. Jacob knows this story. Flying to Pittsburgh, we're coming down the escalator, and my wife goes, "Oh look," because they got like wax figures coming down the escalators of departures. "Oh look, the Steelers." I'm like, "Yeah," and she goes, "Look, a pirate," and I go, "That's George Washington." And
That's even better.
She's visibly she goes, "Fuck," because she knows that's something I'm gonna remember forever.
Oh, I love that. And then, as a quick side note before we go on, I will say I really did like the Penguins' little like send off for Marc-Andre Fleury.
Oh yeah,
that was really beautiful.
That was
I
awesome.
love that.
That was awesome. I hope we do the same when he comes.
I hope so too, because
February?
it's well deserved.
God, I hope not.
I will fist fight that man with this one.
It was Pittsburgh and then us are his two longest term.
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, thinking he was going to
We gotta do
retire
something.
here, and then seeing him go to
that man dragged us through the playoffs.
Oh yeah, and again, he's like seeing him like again say his farewells to that team. Like
Yeah,
it was
that was
emotional,
awesome.
and again, being like 40, like he still again doesn't look at the age, and I respect the hell out of him. And it was a beautiful send off, and I'm really glad he got to do that. And even his like little like interview after the game, like he was very emotional, and you just like I feel for the guy. Like you brought cups to that team, like blood, sweat, tears, and it was nice to see that he got a solid send off from him. So that I will say I really enjoyed this year from
You
Pittsburgh.
know, that was so well said that I have nothing left to add, but I agree wholeheartedly. Missy Flower. What's next? What's next, Alex?
We're in the Central.
Ooh,
We
baby.
are
Let's do this.
Fucking the Winnipeg Jets. They're exceeding
yeah.
beyond my expectations.
Hands down, I did not think they're going to do
I
this
had
well.
them at like third, I think. I'm like, they'll still be good, but holy shit.
Yeah,
this
I
team
thought, again, they would be decent, do a solid like cup run, go to playoffs, but I didn't think they were going to start off this hot.
15-3, 30 points,
That's insane.
74 goal, number one in goals scored. They had a couple two stinkers, but you
again,
can have a couple stinkers when you're
with
this
a record
fucking
like
good.
that, you were more than
Connor Hellebuyck, the best goaltender in the league.
even
The
with
depth on this
again,
team, holy shit! Like,
But yeah, even with like the goalie saves being pretty low, like he's still killing it. Even if everybody was like firing on all cylinders, he would still be doing very
their
well.
defense disgusting. Their scoring disgusting. Kyle Connor disgusting. Mark Scheifele, like everybody's. Wouldn't you rather be Ricker McGroarty playing in Winnipeg right now?
Oh, yeah.
I would be.
And I had Niedermeyer on my fantasy, and again, he had a little rough start, so I dropped him, and now I'm just like, oh, you fucking idiot.
Dude, like, that whole team is so good.
Oh, they're killing it.
Yeah,
So like,
I mean,
I'm giving props to them because they are definitely exceeding my expectations.
Got any comments?
I mean, what is there to say other than
Goddamn.
if we face them in the playoffs, we'll beat them in 5 or less games.
Been there, done that.
No, but yeah, above expectations easily. And even then, I do feel like I have to point out, this was a 110-point team last year.
First place in that division.
This was a very good regular season team, but like other teams we mentioned before, it really does kind of feel like, you're having a great 82-game training camp. Show us this in the playoffs.
Yep.
Show us this in the playoffs.
Yep, I agree.
I'm not saying that to discredit them. The fact that they're having this historic start, and I do mean historic. I mean as in literally an NHL team has never had a start this good. It's literally history, groundbreaking, all that good stuff. But above expectations.
Oh yeah.
They'll make the playoffs. Let's
Hopefully
see what they do.
they can do well in playoffs because normally
They
they'll
fall
get
apart,
to like
yeah.
first, second round, and then just get cut.
Yeah. Yep. Number 2, another team, in my opinion, is exceeding my expectations. The Minnesota Wild.
Honestly, yeah. After
Philip Gustafsson, he's great. After last season, like missing the playoffs.
Oh yeah, after like their rough season last year, I thought they were gonna do just as bad this year.
Kaprizov is great. Matthew Boldy's incredible. Brock Faber is truly a two-way defenseman that's really good on offense. That team is exceeding my expectation. You know what the scary part is? Jacob and I talked about this in the last episode. They are going to get another $9 million. They're going to re-sign Kirill Kaprizov. Both their buyouts are going to come off the books, and they're going to have a shit ton of money to sign big names. And even then, they're still a really good fucking team right now.
Oh yeah.
Fleury is a extremely serviceable backup right now.
Yep. But yeah, so I've been really liking it. Minnesota again this year doing better than I thought they would. It's cool to see that they're doing well. I'm very excited to see what they have for the future. And yeah, I'm pretty honestly really surprised that they're doing it.
Yeah.
Agreed on all accounts, boys. Minnesota above expectations. And let's just hit this point home. After this year, they are going to get $15 million in cap space because those 2 buyouts will come off their books. And then, possibly, maybe, they'll get an additional $9 million in cap space. Yeah. This team is already this good, and they're about to get, like, basically a third of a team's worth of cap space. They're in a good spot. Billy Guerin played the long game. He played it well.
Oh, yeah. He got that long con, and I'm excited to see how this is going to go.
Yeah. I mean, next team is the Stars. Am I crazy? They're 11-5, but am I crazy to say that they're below my expectations right now?
Ooh, for me, I would say they're probably like meeting. I would say they're meeting my expectations.
Yeah,
they haven't gone above and beyond.
But here's my thing:
but it was already a little high.
Yeah, I know had high expectations, but coming off of last season and everything that was shown last season, Wyatt Johnston's not been good.
Oh yeah,
he's not been scoring. Jason Robertson not been scoring. Rupe Hintz a little bit. Logan Sinkovan's been really good. Miro Heiskanen, nothing really.
Yeah.
They're not like crazy like they. I know you have to calm down, but was Joe Pavelski that big of a loss?
Honestly,
Otter's not been incredible.
Yeah,
this team feels like an average team to me, even though their record's pretty good.
Yeah. We have talked about it. Like, well, I was expecting a lot from Wyatt Johnson, especially with how well he did during the playoffs and him being a big thorn in the Golden Knights' side. So I was kind of like, he is definitely not meeting my expectations. And, like, I thought he would be doing pretty well, but I was like, did you just have a good lucky streak for those games? Or is this just, again, rough start maybe? But, yeah, we'll see. It's kind of as the season progresses.
See, I'm glad that you guys had those thoughts and opinions, because I think I'm right in between both of you in the sense that they're doing good. They're a good team. I'm not worried about them.
No, not at all.
If they are below expectations, it's only because expectations were so high.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wouldn't say there aren't, because like 11-5, like
That's a good record.
Like, that's a solid record.
they're
Like,
fine.
that speaks for itself.
I think it's
and
more so that Winnipeg and Minnesota just
are killing
are
it.
blowing people out of the water right now. No one expected that. I'll put them at expectations. Obviously, I thought they would be first in the division, but like I said, it's only because I did not expect Winnipeg and Minnesota
to just pop off like this.
to pull this out of their asses,
Just out of nowhere.
So I would put them at expectations. They'll be in the playoffs. They'll be just fine. They're a contender.
I agree.
And hopefully we beat them in 5 games or less.
Yep, and if we could knock them out, that's just that little just.
And
I need that.
Here comes Kyler's second favorite team.
Let's go.
The Colorado Avalanche.
They are
18 points, so they're 500 exactly, 9-9. They have not had an overtime loss yet. So they have, in my opinion, I would say they're meeting my expectation.
Yeah. They are definitely, again, meeting my expectation. I was hoping for a bit better of a record, but Georgiev is just killing.
They
them.
also had terrible depth issues, and they're getting guys back now. But
Yeah.
Georgiev is fucking awful.
Yeah,
Fucking
and
awful.
just- they got to figure something out with their goalie situation.
Well, he's
'cause, like,
going on IR.
that's-
Who's their backup now after Ananen?
I honestly do not know.
Oh shit! Yeah,
And
that's
it's-
see. Look it up, Jacob. Who's
It's-
the
yeah.
who's the Avs backup with Georgiev on IR?
It's going to be a rough. And again, even with their playoffs last year, like, they can score.
Yeah.
You get 6
They
goals
can't-
a game,
they
but that
can't-
doesn't mean nothing
Yep.
if you get 6 goals on you as well.
Yeah,
And
Georgiev he's been just terrible.
And Cale Makar, again, amazing defense and great shooter. But again, that's one guy on your defense, and you need more than that.
Do you want to take a guess?
The backup to.
I've never heard this name.
Ooh, let's go.
I've never heard this name before in my life.
Kevin
Kevin Mandolese. I've never heard that name before in my life.
That is the first time I've heard
I
that
remember
guy's
that
name.
they signed him in an AHL contract. He was with the Senators for a while and had 1 or 2 games with the Senators. He's just a career AHLer
Ooh, okay.
and like a backup. So yeah, it's Justice Annunen, 24-year-old goaltender, and then Kevin Mandolese, career AHL backup.
Yeah.
Good luck.
If the Avs make it to playoffs, I'm not going to be surprised. I hope they do. But again, if they right now, I think in maybe wild card spot, because again, like, you have Makar, Ratinen, and McKinnon, all killed. There's so much talent.
Well, hang on. Let's stroke them off for a little bit, because this is your team, man.
Oh, it is, and I
So-
love them.
Despite all these trials and tribulations, they've won 4 in a row. Miles Wood is back. Valerie Nichushkin is back.
That I'm excited to kind of see about.
Who else is back?
Dude,
Nathan
always. Because he's
McKinnon
number
is-
1 in points right now, right?
Yeah, Nathan McKinnon's an animal.
Dude, he's fucking fast as shit.
Kale McCarr is an animal. Mika Rantanen's an animal. They just kind of casually have, like, either the best or second best at each position.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, we just casually have the second best for periods at a time, maybe even the first best center in the world. We have easily, without debate, the best defenseman in the world.
Hands down.
We have probably like a top 3 winger in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. There should be no surprise if they recover, and not just recover, but go on a fucking rampage.
Oh, yeah.
And at the same time, I'm kind of expecting them to be frank.
But here's my thing: is like I do expect them to go that way, but you make the playoffs. what happens. Like McKinnon, Rantanen, and whoever is on the bench, your Casey Middlestat's gonna get ran through by someone deeper and bigger than them. And who's going to be your goaltending? I do agree with Jacob. Like you said, this team is good. This team has got great players. The regular season is way different than the playoffs.
Oh yeah, and what sucks is they are also very accident prone. Like they have people going in and out throughout the whole season. It feels like it's always like an uphill battle, but again, with having like such like great names and like these like superstar, that you're just like, how? But yeah, just if they can get someone just decent in between the pipes, like they'll be great. But again, it's just at this point, I'm like, you know what? Pull your goalie the whole game and have six guys, because that's what you're gonna have to do at this point.
All right, brass tacks. This is your team. You know them better than us. You know their flaws. You know their strengths. You know Val Nichushkin is back.
As long as he stays clean, like he can do well.
Yeah, above, at, or below.
Yep.
Above, at, or below.
It's a smidge below. Like I knew it was going to be a rough season. I wasn't expecting it to be this rough. But again, coming off that 4-game win, like I'm hoping that they can turn it around, especially after like the whole Thanksgiving. Like I'm really hoping they could pull it out, and I'm sure they could. Their coach is great. They've had that coach for years now. Like they've got the juice. They could do it. It's just they got to figure something out for their goalie, because again, like that's their biggest hindrance right now. And
Agreed.
If they can't get that figured out, it's like being on a boat with holes in it. Like you can dump the water as fast as you can, but again, you're still getting water in that boat, and eventually you're just gonna sink.
Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same. I'm on the same boat. Forgive me. I would say they're at my expectations because I expected them to have bad goaltending and bad depth. I expected them to be around 4th or 5th place. I didn't think it would be quite this dramatic with the injuries. But at the same time, I do know that they have such high-end talent. It's kind of like a rattlesnake. They can just one strike and you're out. I'll say at expectations, I'm going to roll the dice. They make the playoffs. Alex, What do you think, and then what's next?
I think they make the playoffs as a wild card at minimum. Next is the Utah Hockey Club, 7-7-3, 17 points in 17 games. Here's my thing. I thought they would be better, but considering the circumstances of their defensive injuries, I would say they are meeting the expectations as best as they could. The offense is scoring. Goaltending's all right. It's unfortunate that Sean Durzi and John Marino are out for months on end. Michael Kesselring looks great. It looks really good. Mikhail Sergachev is good. I think there's a kind of steep drop-off due to those defensive injuries.
So with me, I want to say they're meeting above my expectations. With everything going from the Coyotes to the Utah and everything in between, I thought it was going to be kind of a rough start. And again, like the Coyotes last year, they were decent. Like the last couple of games, they fucking gave it their all because that was the last time they were going to play in that barn.
Because they knew.
Yeah, they knew. So they gave it their all. And I was like, this will either make or break this team. And they came out the gate pretty hot. Like they have a fire under them. So they're doing better than I thought they would, which is cool to see. Like they've given the Knights the run for their money, and like that's cool to see. So speaking of Thanksgiving specials, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, we will face them for the final time at the Fortress, second half of a back-to-back. Oh yeah, which
against the Winnipeg Jets.
I want that W.
I want it.
But yeah, I will say they are definitely going above and beyond what I thought. I do really want a Logan Cooley Utah Hockey Club sweater. I got to get that before they come out with their brand new team, because I have the Logan Cooley Arizona sweater, and it feels right to keep that going.
Agreed. I will say they're below my preseason expectations, but as Alex said, you kind of understand with the circumstances. They were already kind of thin on defense, but it looked like it would be enough. Well, you lose Sean Durzi, you lose Marino. Those are two huge pieces to lose, and I just don't think they're ready to absorb losses like that. And as we talked about with Colorado and other teams, like some teams, veteran teams, just plain don't absorb losses like that. I think Dylan Guenther's looked amazing. He already looks every cent worth of that contract extension. And I do have a fondness for this team because I loved the Coyotes because they were from the desert and they had the sickest fucking jerseys.
True.
And they
Very
were
true.
underdogs.
They-
So
yeah.
I've been following this team for a few years and been secretly kind of fans of them. But at the end of the day, now they're in Mormon land and they're a little bit below expectations. But I think that's okay.
Yep.
I think that's okay.
They're doing the best they can with what they got right now.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Next team is the St. Louis Blues. 8-9-1, 17 points. In my opinion, I think they're meeting my expectations because I had them literally slotted right in 6th place, I think. 6th or 7th. They were pretty solid up until the Broberg injury.
Yeah.
He is a big loss because he's been so good. I'm sure the Edmonton Oilers would love Philip Broberg or Dylan Holloway. No, this team is... I think we expect this team to be right where it's at. I don't know. Nothing really special about the Blues. I don't know, man. Like...
I was just going to say that I have literally zero opinions about the Blues, so I'm going to go pee real quick, and then you guys go ahead and discuss.
Sweet.
And you can move on if you have to. Don't hold back.
Go piss girl. The Blues.
I will say, as of right now, they are meeting my expectations. Until they had that big injury, they were above my expectations.
Yeah.
They were doing really well,
Yeah.
and better than I thought.
I thought so, yeah.
So if without that injury, I think they would have still exceeded my expectations. They would probably be doing honestly better than the Avs.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I feel like we should talk about the Blues more because I'm sure Jake was going to want to talk about the Nashville Predators.
Oh, we're gonna have a minute on the Preds for sure.
The Blues have been solid. Like, I don't know. Like, everybody in the Central like hasn't been like overly awful. Like, they're at 17 points, but then the Avs are at 18.
Yeah.
And like they're not too far behind,
No.
right? I feel like the Blues could be better. I just think the Broberg injury is going to be huge, and he's still going to be out for like another month.
Yeah.
And Binnington has been awful. They lost to the Canes today, but the Canes are really good. I just don't know what to expect. Like, that's the thing. Like, what do you expect from a team that's built like this? And then Robert Thomas has been injured.
Yes, that
He's
as well.
not supposed to be back for like another 3 weeks maybe, so that's huge too.
Yeah,
He was.
that's a plethora of games, and
I would know. I had Robert Thomas on my fantasy team, and the IR came up. I'm like, I'm gonna
You're like, son
fucking
of
blow
a
my
bitch.
brains out. And they've got good guys that have been off the ice. Kyrie's obviously good, but their depth was already a question anyways.
yeah,
We wanted to
so-
save this next team for you. We're on the Nashville Predators.
But yeah, the
Whole-
Blues again. Maybe they can again the wild card spot.
I don't think they make the playoffs. I think they're gonna miss. Yeah.
They got to run for the wild card spot, and that's kind of where I see them for the rest of the season.
Yep.
But yeah, the next month for them is going to be pretty rough.
Yeah, and now we're on to the Nashville Predators, and holy shit,
Oh,
are they
who's
under-
going first on this one?
Ass!
There's Jacob. They have been fucking terrible. Got the only good player on the team right now is UC Soros, and he just because he has a above 900 despite the defense
Just
and the
being
forwards and
awful.
Tyver being terrible. Everybody on this team is terrible. Everybody on this team. Philip Forsberg is the only maybe positive on the forwards. Roman Josi is awful, right? They waived Dante Fabro the other day. Michael McCarron's awful. Stammer's been terrible. Marshy's not scored shit. Everybody's awful on this team. This team's awful.
They are meeting way below my expectations.
Way. I had them as first.
Yeah,
we had
same.
them as number one.
When with who they picked up in the offseason, I was thinking very, very highly of this team. I knew they were going to just go very well. They got some solid players, and I thought they were going to be the team to watch this year. I had very high hopes, and out the gate, they've just been trash, and it sucks to see. Marchie has 2 goals this season, and that hurts. How well he did with us last year. To see him I'm like,
And
is
to
this
be
where
clear-
his career goes to die?
Well, I was saying, to be clear, I think he would not have those points if he was still with us. If he was still with us, I think he would probably have fucking 10 goals by now.
Oh, hands down.
But I
Oh, yeah.
not exactly. Yeah. Good point, Alex.
He would be doing very well on
we
this
only have 2
team.
mics, but agreed with the way our team has been scoring despite our other deficiencies. Yeah, he'd probably be fucking pushing 20 goals right now. Yeah. It's just And I think we all kind of had this little caveat in our brains, right, where we're like, well, they added all these pieces, but sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes there's time to gel and this and that. But my God, it's been way below any worst case scenario that we could have drawn up.
No, if you were to again months ago be like, hey, this team's going to be worse than the Sharks, how do you feel about that?
Awful.
Which I'm so sad because I really was hoping this team was going to fucking kill it.
This team alone, the Predators, they've only scored 41 goals. That is the second worst in the league. You want to know who the worst in the league is?
Ooh, I'm going to say, is it Blackhawks?
Nope, it's the Anaheim Ducks.
Oh, shit.
Blackhawks have more goals than the Nashville Predators. Also, the Predators have the lowest PDO in the entire league. So that means they have the lowest shooting percentage, lowest overall stats on shooting and offense. This team is not good.
No, and they put a lot of money into this.
Yeah.
And I was expecting really good things from this team, and I'm sad about it because I wanted to see Marchie succeed and then also Stamkos. I was expecting a lot from him, and I was like, where are you guys? What are we doing?
Moving on to a team in eighth that conveniently has the same points as the Nashville Predators, but they have one more win. Predators are only above them because they have 3 overtime losses.
Jesus.
The Chicago Blackhawks are 6-11-1. I don't know what more to say about the Blackhawks. We knew they're going to be awful.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to say they are meeting my expectations. Again, you can have Connor Bedard, but that kid's not going to save the whole franchise.
And honestly, he has not even been scoring the way he should.
And he was doing better last season, and he also took months off because of the broken jaw. So
what's funny is I just saw an article by whatever athletic reporter covers Chicago, and he did the classic thing you do when your team is bad and you have nothing else to write about. He said, "Is Luke Richardson on the hot seat?"
Oh, no.
No, because this team is bad. They were expected to be bad.
Yeah.
If you expected them to be good, you don't know anything about hockey, and you should be ashamed of yourself. But yeah, they're at expectations because I expected them to be bad. Connor Bedard does not deserve a roster spot at the Four Nations face-off, but he'll probably get one anyway for PR
Team
reasons.
Canada.
Stamer
but yeah.
doesn't either. Stamer's been awful too. So, do you think he deserves a roster spot in Team Canada? I think it should be Mark Scheifele.
No, I agree. Yeah,
it should be half of the Winnipeg Jets. The Chicago sucks.
Yeah.
Period. End of it. But now we're in the Pacific. Number 1 in the Pacific for right now are the Vegas Golden Knights. And I know we all have our own opinions, and we've talked about it before. I think this team is below my expectations, especially on team play with defense. Just knowing the team overall, their scoring is great. They're scoring at a record pace. They have a great power play. They're scoring a ton. This team defense sucks. We're awful at defense.
So with me, I want to say they're a little above my expectations. I thought it was going to be a rough season from the get-go with all the trades and the players we lost.
Yeah.
I didn't think this team was going to gel as well as it has been, and I thought it was going to be a rough start and, again, maybe a wild card spot. But if the team keeps going the way they're doing, hopefully they can figure some stuff out on the road and get things better. But I can definitely see them going for the playoffs for sure. And then I will always want them to do a cup run, and I hope they get it. But yeah, they're doing better than I thought, and I'm happy that they are. I wasn't sure how well they're going to do with all the trades and losing some big names. And again, with Thompson going and Marchie going, and even Stevenson going and Carrier,
Amadio.
We lost a good chunk of people that I've grown to love. And it's so I want them to do better. Of course, I always do. But the fact that we're number 1 currently in Pacific, it's cool. I love it. I hope we keep it. But again, with us being ahead by only a handful of points, it can really go any way. And with how well the Kings have been doing and everybody, I'm saying it's gonna be a fight. I don't want it to be an easy W, but again, they're doing better than I thought, and I love that. So we wanted to keep going.
Well, As it turns out, and sure enough, this is a Golden Knights podcast, I think I'm going to round out the opinions by saying they're about at my expectations. We had one below, one above, and one at.
I love it.
And we might be dating ourselves if people listen to our Thanksgiving special on Thanksgiving, because we could be in 4th place by Thanksgiving.
I was like, yeah, this is definitely pre-recorded.
But, yeah, it's pre-taped, folks. WWE. Sorry, we're all 30-year-old adults. We got lives here. But the point being, I would say right now they're at my expectations because after some emotional days after trade deadline, I went from thinking they would be awful to thinking they'd be great to thinking they'd be whatever. I think I ended up leveling out at, you know what, they'll be good. And then I got a little bit defiant and said they'll be great, but in the back of my mind I was like, will they really be great? I think they'll be good. I still think they have it in them to win the division if things start clicking and if they start performing. Because as Alex said, the defense has been dog shit. And
it's a solid defense. Like, they should be better than what they're doing right now. And
and that's why I landed on Meat's expectations, because the defense has been so below my expectations. Because I still maintain that on paper we have the best D core in the league and the best center core in the league, and that should equate to a very strong defensive team regardless of who's in net. Not that I think we have bad goalies. I think we have serviceable goalies.
Yeah, they're good, and Hill's been kind of going a bit above lately.
Hill's been picking it back up. Sammy's back, getting healthy again. But the offense has also blown away my expectations. I did not expect us to be scoring goals like at all, frankly. I thought we were going to win every game that we won, like, you know, fucking 0-1
by a hair,
2-1. I don't know. It's a mixed bag. I do think there are some serious red flags with this team. Taking a step back, I will finish at Meat's expectations.
I will say this is a future message to future Kyler. How's Stone doing? Is he doing good? Is he back? Please, for the love of God, tell me he's back, because the team needs him. The team misses him. And, again, I wish nothing but, like, the best health for that guy. But we also really need him as soon as we can.
Yeah, we need him.
So, also, hi, future Kyler. How are you doing?
Hi, future everybody. Team number 2 right now is the Los Angeles Kings, 10-6-3 with 23 points. I think they're meeting my expectations because I thought this Kings team was going to be good. I thought the forwards were going to be good. I thought the defense was going to be good. Person I didn't think was going to be this good was Trevor Moore.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely been popping off this season.
He's been pretty incredible. I thought Quentin Byfield was going to be a lot better than he is. And Quentin Byfield's been kind of hit or miss. But, like, even without Drew Doughty, this team has been solid. The defense has been solid. Goaltending's been good. I just think this team is good as expected. I think Jake and I both said, like, this team will be, like, third place, second or third place. This team is going to be solidly in. And they're a solidly deep team. I mean, I don't know what else to say about them. They're a good team.
Yeah, they're a solid team. Definitely meeting my expectations as well. I didn't think they were going to go above and beyond this year, but also I knew they weren't going to be trash. So, like, they're, like, again, middle of the road. Like, I know they'll be fun to play against, and excited to see how those games go. But, yeah, I'm like, I'll keep my eyes on them. Like, but, again, I'm not expecting a massive, like, win streak out of nowhere or a massive lose streak. I think they'll just get their wins, get their losses, and just keep doing the damn thing.
Yeah, I think I will go ahead and classify them as a little bit above expectations. I think at the beginning of the year, I had said, like, oh, I think people are sleeping on them a little bit, but I don't remember where I put them on my preseason rankings, but I was like, well, probably between 3 and 5. And even then, I was like, am I being too optimistic? Am I being a little bit too delulu? A little too delululemon? But no, I would put them at above expectations, mainly because they're doing all of this without Drew Doughty. Brant Clark has really stepped up, and God, I think there's a rookie on the forwards too that's really stepped up. Andre Lee, except he just got sent down today. So maybe there is no forward. I'm just fabricating shit. Quentin Byfield has frankly been a disappointment. I know because he's on my fantasy team and he's done shit. Matter of fact, I think I dropped him about 2 weeks ago. But that being said, I will put the Kings at above expectations mildly, just because I didn't expect a lot. I just expected them to, or maybe they're at I don't know. They're doing good. They'll make the playoffs.
Do they still have Kemper?
Darcy Kemper,
Yeah.
he's playing, but I think he's been injured last couple games.
Okay, I was like, I don't think I've seen him in a minute, and I wasn't sure if he was still on the team or what.
He's still with them. Yeah, he's
Okay.
playing.
How's he doing before the injury?
He's been good. He's been solid. He had that one crazy fucking game against the Senators where it was like 8-7 or some shit like that. But he's been solid. I think the Kings have been good. I think the Pacific's kind of shaking out how I expected it, aside from the Flames. But third place is the Canucks. I think they're going to be there.
Yeah.
But it's crazy though. Like Jacob brought it up earlier. Like the Canucks are in third place solidly at 9-4-3 with 21 points, and they've been playing Kevin Lankinen as their starting goaltender, and they have no timetable on Thatcher Demko, and the team just around them has been just steadily winning.
Yeah.
Not like crazy games. They've won close games, but they've been doing enough. Like, Quinn Hughes is actually playing good defense. Philip Roanoke's been playing good defense. Team has been decent around it, and they just got back, what's his name? The forward, for that you and I both love, the guy that had testicular cancer. Well, whatever, he came back.
And is doing well.
Doing well, yeah. He came back, and, team, like, I know Elias Pettersson has been very good, but, JT Miller's an animal, and Bryce Besser is injured, is out indefinitely. So we'll see how that team goes. But I think the Canucks are meeting my expectations. I mean, but then again, like, you expect this from the Canucks being solidly good, right?
Yeah, last year they had a good cup run. I, again, expect this year another solid cup run, especially if they get Demko back. Again, don't know what's been going on with that. But, again, that man between the
Dakota
pipes
Joshua
scares me. Like, Demko, that man is a fucking walrus in the pipes, and he's always been just a nightmare for us. So, again, I hope he gets healthy because, again, I liked seeing him as a goalie. He's a solid goalie to watch, and he definitely does work for the Canucks. And, they're definitely meeting my expectations. I'm assuming they'll probably do another solid playoff run and go from there.
I'm going to say they're below my expectations.
Ooh, hot take.
I think because I do remember I put them at first on my division rankings. Mainly because I wanted to put Vegas at first, but I couldn't justify it because I didn't want to look like a homer. I should have just done it. I'll do it next year. We did both have the Canucks at first. That aside, I did expect them to be better than this because I just thought being under Rick Tocchet that they would just have a few more wins. Elias Pettersson has been bad. He got that big contract extension, and he's not done anything. He's been basically invisible.
How much did they give him for that contract?
Like $11 million,
oh,
maybe.
Shit.
They give him a lot of money, and he's not doing anything. Demko's been out unforeseeably. So maybe they've been doing it pretty good considering those circumstances. But as far as preseason expectations, below what I had them pegged for. I do think they'll still meet the playoffs, so big whoop. But I don't know. They just feel a little disappointing. They just can't really string much together.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Now we can move on to the Flames. I think they're exceeding my expectations. I didn't expect them to come out that hot, and then they kind of dove off, but then they've been decently consistent. I think they're going to fall off pretty quickly as the season goes on. That team's just not sustainable. I mean, the defense is not good outside of Mackenzie Weegar, and then the goaltending's and then they just lost Anthony Mantha.
Oh, yeah.
So their depth is already getting awful. I don't know. I think they're going to miss the playoffs. I don't think they're going to stay in fourth. They're probably going to get dropped down to sixth, I would say. Maybe I don't say worse than the Ducks and the Sharks because the Ducks have been so goddamn bad that I think they make their sixth, but it's not like a happy sixth, right? It's oh man, we suck, but we're not gonna get a top 5 pick.
For me, I would say they're probably meeting my expectations. Again, going into the season, I didn't think they were going to be amazing by all counts, but they're not awful either. They're for me, they're kind of right there. They've always been that little bit of a sleeper for me of just oh, they're in the playoffs. Oh, they're doing this well. I, again, would not think that team be oh, yeah, they're doing this well right now. They're always just kind of in the back of my mind. They're just there. But, again, we'll see how this season goes. But, yeah, I was Weegar's great. He's been killing it. But again, like, two people don't make a whole defensive team. So,
yeah, I would put them at above expectations. I didn't expect them to be bottom feeders. Yeah, a lot of people peg them as being awful. I thought they had the potential to be pretty bad, but I was like, no, there's still enough pieces here, and
like, there's still something there.
Exactly, and like the drama's kind of lifted a bit now that they kind of accepted their fate and started retooling. Yeah, I believe in Danil Marimanov and Pickles. But no, I would say they're a little bit above expectations. Agreed, they will not make the playoffs. But, they minimize the pain, so good for Calgary fans.
Spend a couple minutes on our overall favorite team to talk about. It's the Edmonton Oilers. 18 games played, 9-7-2, 20 points. They just lost Darnell Nurse for the foreseeable future.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Dang
their goaltending is somehow worse than ours and worse than a lot of the league. Stuart Skinner's been pretty bad. Calvin Pickard's been worse. That defense sucks. You want to guess who has the worst penalty kill percentage in the entire league?
I'm going to say the Oilers.
The Edmonton Oilers. You want to know where their power play percentage is?
Ooh, I want to say 17%.
They are at 17%.
Oh,
17.
fuck yeah, let's go.
So they are in the bottom.
I called it.
Good job. They're in the bottom 20 of the league. Dude, this team isn't good.
Oh, no.
They're winning off of scoring off of McDavid and Draisaitl, but as Jacob has said many times, Jeff Skinner, ass. Victor Arvidsson has not scored. Nugent Hopkins does not score. Hyman is not keeping up.
None, not at all.
Bouchard has been awful. Ekholm has been trying to fucking make that defense survive. It's like we talk about the Avs. The Avs have like some great players. So the Oilers, they have
some top players.
They have the two best forwards in the entire world on their team, and they have one of the best defensemen. I would say Matisse Ekholm. I'd say a top 15 defenseman in the league.
Hands down, yeah.
Great defenseman, but the rest of that team sucks.
Oh yeah,
is awful,
just trash.
Like you got Corey Perry and Derek Ryan and just dog shit on that team, and then they let Raphael Lavoie go for waivers, and I'm sure they would love him on the team. Jeff Skinner, when they signed Jeff Skinner, Victor Arvidsson, both Jacob and I were like, oh, third line, perfect on the third line. Nope, they're playing second line, and they haven't done shit.
Oh yeah, none.
You think bringing both those guys in, their power play would be way higher? It's the worst they've ever had it.
Awful.
Yeah, I'm going to say that they're at my expectations because I expected them to be bad because I'm not a fucking moron, okay? Guys, I'm sure they're below expectations for the rest of the league, but let's be fucking real here. Puckpedia is free. Just type in Edmonton Oilers roster and then look at it and then be like, are we really that surprised? I'm not, because they have just enough forwards to make two decent lines, and half those forwards are severely underperforming. And they only had 3 NHL defensemen on their goddamn roster to begin with. Now they're down to 2. Yep. And then Jeff Skinner is Jeff Skinner, and Calvin Pickard is literally a fucking career AHL goalie. Yep. It's what else is there to say?
I'm gonna give you guys. You have something to say?
I do.
Go for it.
Hello, God. It's me, Connor McDavid again. I just want to say,
God, that's my favorite episode.
What the fuck?
It's me again.
For me, they are below expectations. I didn't think they were going to do amazing this year, but I didn't think they were going to be this bad either.
Yeah.
Like
all their underlying metrics are so bad.
Yeah, like I thought they would be near or on par to where the Knights are.
Yep.
But I didn't expect them to be like this trash.
Let me give you.
But I'm also so happy that they're this
Let me give you
bad.
guys these points. All right, Leon Draisaitl. 18 games played, 13 goals, 11 assists, 24 points. Expected.
Yeah,
that's
about right.
Par for the course. Connor McDavid, 15 games played, 7 goals, 14 assists, 21 points. Expected.
Yeah, even with his injury, and I hate to say it, but like he missed a couple of games?
Yeah, he missed 3. He missed 3 games. Here's where it gets disastrous. Evan Bouchard. Remember Evan Bouchard? He's supposed to have a 100-point season and be some crazy offensive defenseman. 18 games played, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points.
Oof.
Matthias Ekholm, supposed to be a defensive defenseman and better than Bouchard on offense. He's got 10 points too. Darnell Nurse, 2-7, 9 points. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 1-7, 8 points. Matthias Janmark, somehow the 7th highest scoring player on this team. He has
that's wild.
8 points. You want to know what Jeff Skinner's got? 6. You want to know how many goals Jeff Skinner has? 3. Victor Albertson, 5 points.
That's
Zach Hyman, 3 goals in 18 games. He's not scoring 50 this year.
no. There's no way.
Yeah, this team is literally no depth. Has nothing, no depth behind him, and something that we all saw all along. Nobody want to listen about it. That's the Edmonton Oilers.
Yep,
they suck.
Trash team, trash organization,
trash players,
just everything, just trash.
Now we got the Seattle Kraken at 18 games played, 19 points. They are below my expectations. I thought this team was going to be way better. The goaltending was good. The defense was solid. Vince Dunn is a massive loss. They can't score to save their goddamn lives, aside from like the Canadians when they had an 8-2 game. Yeah, they just can't score. They can defend. They can save. Their games that they lose aren't like high scoring games. They just can't score at all.
And they're a little below expectations for me. Like, again, wasn't expecting anything amazing from them, and it pains me to say this, but Stevenson definitely got overpaid, like a good chunk of change. And I was just like, that sucks. Like, again, it sucked to see him go, but I'm like, damn, get your money, I guess. But yeah, the Kraken not doing too hot. I, again, wasn't expecting them to have a crazy great beginning of the year. I thought, again, they'd be probably pretty middle, but I want to see them do a little bit better, especially after a couple games that we've played against them.
I just looked at the stats. Holy shit, Jared McCann's got 21 points in 18 games.
Oh, shit.
He's got 9 goals, 12 assists. Jared McCann's an animal right now. He's playing great.
What position does he play?
Center. Stevenson is not great. 18 games played, 1 goal, 9 assists, 10 points, -5.
Oh,
Jared McCann's a fucking animal.
Yeah.
But
just a little update after tonight. He's -6.
Yeah, he's not having. I mean, it's also like, then again, he's being dependent on as being the number 1 or number 2 center, which I think he's got the ability to, but he's got less talent around him than he did with the Knights.
Yeah,
he's not playing with Mark Stone and Brett Howden and Jack Eichel and Marshy and all these guys are so talented. And that's not to say that McCann's super talented, but there's more around him and like more like structure than what the Kraken have, and then they also have a brand new coach, and I think Dan Bylsma is a really good coach. Just gonna take a couple of years to get him going.
Yeah, and again with Stevenson, like it's one of those like some people have greatness thrusted upon him, or he was expected to have a lot of greatness coming from him, and even with the Knights, I wouldn't expect him anything like that. But it's one of those just it is what it is kind of deals.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and safely put them in below expectations. I thought adding Dan Bylsma, adding Jess Campbell, and the kind of coaches they are, and the kind of
like I will give props where props are due. Like that's fucking cool as shit. And
that is so cool.
Her record speaks for itself. Like she earned that spot, and I'm so glad to see it. Like,
and honestly, the shit that she's in charge of has been fine because. She draws up a lot of the power play and a lot of the 6-on-5, and they've been relatively successful in those areas.
The 5-on-5 play has just been bad.
Yeah, and she's also she's really more known as like a developmental coach and a conditioning coach and a skating coach.
Those boys can skate.
Yeah, and I thought between that and Dan Bylsma's systems, which really lead towards fast strike in transition kinds of teams. And then the fact that we saw this team do this 2 years ago when they made it to the playoffs and beat the Avs. Sorry, Kyler. But
history is history, and it's cool to see again an inaugural team beat the previous Stanley Cup champions. Again, like they were the ones first in history to do it, so that's cool to see. It sucked, but I'm like, hey, fucking, I love watching history in the making, and this is one of the things I'm like, this is wild to see, and I never thought I would see it.
Yeah, they took Dallas to 7 games of they were one away. Yeah, one
and again,
one
like they're
from the West final. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to below expectations.
Yeah,
I
they're
thought
like
they were
not
gonna,
a team to scoff at.
I thought they were gonna have a big rebound. I know they beat us in overtime, and to me, that's more about us underperforming than what they are.
They needed that win against us. They had 4 in a row, lost 4 in a row, right? Their only win was against the Canadians, and it's the fucking Canadians. But then they just lost tonight after having a win streak, right? I do agree. I think they're below my expectations. I thought this team was gonna be like 3rd or 4th. I think they'll be better. Well,
here's the real question, gentlemen, because we're getting in that murky middle. Are they a playoff team? Yes or no?
This year, probably not.
I'm gonna say maybe not.
They can make a run for wild card spot, but I feel like that's gonna be a tight spot to get.
Here's my thing: is I think only 3 teams in the Pacific are gonna make it, and because the Central's
fucking killing
the
it.
Jets, the Wild, the Stars, the Avs, and possibly Utah. It's such like and Utah has 18 points. Well, then again, no, like the Pacific's 24, 23, 21, 21, 20, and then 19. The Western getting into the Western Conference playoff is going to be a fucking knife fight, and that's why I'm so afraid of our own team falling off, because it's going to be so fucking tight to get into that wild card position.
And again, like this has happened to us before, where we were like points, a handful of points away from making it,
1 or 2.
And again, like the next month or so is going to be a make or break kind of thing.
Yeah, the West is tight. There's one thing I think we can all agree on. The Eastern Conference is falling apart.
Oh, hands
the Western
down.
Conference is now the power in the league.
Oh, yeah.
But, so yeah, I don't know. I guess I will still categorize Seattle as below just because I did have high expectations for them. Maybe that's on me. Maybe my expectations were a little too high. A lot of Kraken media that I follow, the most optimistic ones were saying, a 500 team. But I don't know. I was expecting a little more. That being said, by the end of the year, would I be surprised if they make the playoffs? No, not really.
No. But if they don't make the playoffs or a wild card spot, I know who to blame, and it's their stupid fucking mascot buoy. That thing is idiotic. That is the reason they're not going to make it. That stupid sea troll.
I will defend Bowie. I will defend Bowie. He's a troll.
A sea troll.
It makes sense because the Fremont troll.
So dumb.
And, to me, my big thing is that he seems to piss off conservatives, and that's my favorite aspect of him.
I'll give that credit, but yeah, I fuck it. He's a stupid-looking mascot. But again, that being said, my favorite mascot's Gritty, so like I don't have much of a leg to stand on. But yeah, I do not like their mascot. And anytime I look at him, I'm just like, shut up.
I love the rivalry that he has with fucking Biz.
Oh, that is kind of cool. I do like that.
Every time. But, yeah. If you're listening, Dad, I'm sorry, but below expectations.
He probably is. Sorry, James. We're going to go to the last 2 teams in the Pacific. I think we're expecting exactly where they're at. 7th is the Ducks. The Ducks fucking suck.
Yeah.
Trevor Zegras is non-existent. Cutter Gauthier has been awful. Troy Terry's good. Lucas Dostal been pretty solid.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Honestly,
he's been really good.
The saving grace of that team at this
he's
point.
Been really good. Everybody else sucks ass.
Yep, and like it sucks because I've always had a soft spot for the Ducks ever since the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, of course.
They've always been like one of my favorite go-to teams.
Yeah,
and even with Zegras, he's a flashy player. He's fun
awful.
to watch.
He is
when he's good.
Yeah, he has been awful.
He's just been awful. Remember this year, last year he was awful. He had his injury.
Remember his contract extension when he was like, I want $11-12 million, and they're like, go fuck yourself.
Which fair, because I'm like, for what?
For what? One good season?
Yeah.
He's been awful.
You're fun to watch during the All-Star games. That's great.
That was
but again, that's not going to do anything for your team for the whole last season.
Yeah.
I really like Zegras. He seems like a cool kid. I'd have a beer with him, but as a player, I'm disappointed.
I like Radko Gudas's mustache.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say meets expectations because I expected them to be bad. Yeah. I thought maybe they could get to 6th, splitting hairs at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would say somewhere between meeting and below, just because they really have been dog shit, and we are getting to this point where it's Trevor Zegras, Mason McTavish, Mitch Mitnikov or whatever. I almost feel like almost feel like we need to have like this referendum on like how we talk about young players and how we talk about prospects, because they're young and they're skilled. They're not good at the NHL level.
No.
And at a certain point, like these guys are going to start hitting 23, 24. Like they're not as young as you think they are.
Yeah.
Mason McTavish is 24 years old.
Yeah. Here's my conundrum on the Ducks. They have the fewest goals for in the entire league, but they also have where'd it go? They also have the 24th fewest goals against.
Okay.
But they are somehow still one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
So that means Lucas Dahlstall and John Gibson and whoever they have in is making saves, but they can't score to save their goddamn lives.
And again, like you could get peppered so much in a given evening. I will say though, the one thing that the Ducks have exceeded my expectations. Those new sweaters are
They're nice.
They're
so much better.
I really like
so
them.
much. The Duckfoot was so fucking ugly.
Yeah.
I hated that logo. I think I told you they got those new sweaters got announced, and my wife and I flew into John Wayne Airport in California, and they have like a Ducks breakaway bar.
Oh hell yeah!
And I audibly we get off the plane. I'm like, they're gonna have to change that ugly ass shit today. And someone looks at me, I'm like, they changed. It's gone now.
Yeah, and
I hate that Duckfoot look.
Oh no, it was so
hate
stupid. I didn't like the brown and like the black, but the sweaters now. Oh, that's
So
a nice
nice.
looking orange.
Yeah.
I like that little bit of the retro logo to it. I'm
Yep.
just like, oh,
And
it's nice. I might be picking one up by the end of the season just to have one.
The old jerseys and the old logo were awful. Was it Gio that's a Ducks fan?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how he feels about it, but
Oh, he loves the sweaters.
Okay,
yeah,
'cause
he loves it
those
now.
new
and
ones are so
he's
nice.
he's stoked about it. He's like, this is the
Yeah.
good thing this year.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, like I do feel bad for the Ducks goalies because again, we're in a season where goalies are really getting it, and they're the good ones on the team. Like they're fucking.
Do you know what I think is the best thing that can happen to John Gibson?
Ooh, he gets traded.
Gets traded to the Colorado Avalanche.
Which that would be. Then they would be really solid.
Yeah.
And that would be something to see. He's great, and again,
He has it in him. He's just been stuck in limbo for so long.
yep. And again, like a good
If he
player
if he goes to the Avs,
decent team.
If he goes to the Avs, I feel like the first practice, Cale Makar would like walk up to him, and he would be like, "Your fingers would remember their strength better if they held your sword." And he would put his goalie stick in his hand, and then suddenly John Gibson would de-age like 10 years.
I was about to
and,
ask, how old is Gibson
get
at this point?
Get a bounce in his step. He's not.
like 29.
He's not.
Oh, I don't know why I thought he was way
He's
older.
not 29. He's like 32, 33.
I'm so because I thought he was a bit older.
He's not
'cause
like-
he's been in the league for a minute.
He's not old. He's just
only 31.
31. So
Okay.
He's not exactly. He's not old. He's just been toiling.
Really
Bad
He's just
team
been
for a
toiling in an
while.
awful team where they just let him get shot up, man.
Yeah. Like
But,
again, there's only so many pucks a man could take in his life.
Exactly. And you know what? Thaden wasn't that old. He just thought he was old because
Yeah.
of Grima Wormtongue.
Oh god.
So that I will say they're at expectations. They will not make the playoffs. Actually, mildly below, but I got nothing else to say. What about you fellas?
But the day that they do get back in playoff position is going to be a cool day to see. Like
yeah,
that one I
but
know it's a long
I
time
think
coming.
They have to, I think in order to do that, they might have to jettison Trevor Zegras to do it.
Which at this point, is that a big loss?
No.
Because right now it's
Nope. They can get some value for him.
I was like, cut him. Get what you can because you guys need something.
And then the final team on the list, I think the team that's in last place, tied for last with the Jackets and the Canadians and the
Preds.
the Ducks. Oh no! You know who's in last place? Jesus Christ! It's the Predators.
Yeah, I
and
was
the
like, really,
Blackhawks.
it's the Preds. Yeah.
Holy shit!
Again,
But
if you
the
were to
Sharks,
ask me months ago,
yeah, Sharks. They're meeting my expectations. I mean, we
Yeah.
knew they were going to be bad. They started to heat up a little bit with Celebrini back and Will Smith back, but that team's just not good.
No.
Vitek Vanacek sucks ass. Mackenzie Blackwood's it's just holdovers until everybody can come up. I think that team will be good in the next 5 to 6 years when
I hope so.
when they all age back up. But yeah, Mike Greer's playing the game right. He's gathering picks. He's gathering assets.
just slowly build into it.
He's getting he's getting to the cap floor just to have a team that's playable, and he'll get some assets out of it. Yeah, I mean, I knew they were going to be bad. I pegged him as 8th. Jacob pegged him as 8th.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you expect. Like
I wish they were better, because going back to it, like, I miss that Knights Sharks rivalry
Me
so
too.
much. It was just, again, on site every time, and now every time we play, like, we have a solid win streak against them, and now every time we play them, it's just like, again, taking candy from a baby. Like, I feel bad. I'm just like, all right, we'll win, but like we'll kind of take it easy, because like this is, yeah, and I'm just like, this, I feel bad, and like I want them to be good. I really do. Because I just miss that rivalry.
I want them to be good, so it'll feel good to beat them.
Yes, because now when we beat them, I'm just like, oh man, this does not taste as sweet.
Be careful what you wish for, because that young core could grow up to be pretty good, and then if that does, the way it usually goes, when we're kind of falling apart, they'll be in their prime. So
just wait.
Shit can flip. Shit can flip in a few years.
Because they're gonna get another top 5 pick next year, and next year's draft is pretty solid, and they'll have another top 5 pick. They'll have Celebrini, Smith, Thomas Bordelot, William Eklund, a top 5 pick next year, and then they've got Dickinson and the Shaquille McMillan. They've got what's his name, Yaroslav Askarov. There's guys that are coming up in that pipeline that are going to be really good, really quick.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that Mike Greer did it. He did it right. He's rebuilding this team the right way. But yeah, at expectations, thought they would be dog shit. They are dog shit. What else is there to say?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's 32 teams, folks.
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving. It's cold out.
Which I love. Thank God.
The leaves are falling. They're drifting by my window. Yeah, Alex is going to be in New Jersey visiting his fucking in-laws, but I'm feeling all comfy cozy and yeah, ready to rock and roll with some turkey.
You boys having with that turkey mashed potatoes. I'm going to be this time at Thanksgiving, possibly in Delaware. We are going to a beach town. We might be getting shit-faced in beach town bars, so
heck yeah,
might be a positive. We'll see. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Have a good time. And thank you for Kyler for hopping on for a second episode.
Oh, third episode.
Third episode, second in a row.
Oh yeah, which I'm so happy to be here.
If Tyler's listening to this, you missed a fun.
You did.
Fun
you could have been here, but again, we will get the 4 of us together to do a pod because that one's gonna be good. Yeah. We got fun Golden Knights history to talk about. Great memories to share.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I really want to have Tyler talk about the cup final where the bell was broken in game 5. Because he was the one just fucking beating the shit out of that thing.
It was just great times to be had, and it's one of those days. If I could travel back in time and relive, I would 100% be reliving that day.
I told Tyler he needs to take that thing and get it signed by go send it to get it signed by as many team members as possible. And just put it in a little box, put it on the wall, be perfect. But until next time, stay gold,
stay golden,
and much like the leaves drifting by my window. Stay gold, my friends.